I always wanted to be a creative in my life, and I didn't want to be the same as everybody else. And I think nurses are creative at heart. And I heard this phrase, memento vivere. I think it was like daily stoic or something. It's a stoic phrase. It's a Latin phrase. It means remember to live. And this just really resonated with me because I think a lot of people are just living their everyday life, just going through the motions and not truly living.
Welcome back to the Nice Veins Bro podcast, the number one personal development podcast for healthcare and wellness professionals. I am NENEPABLO, host of this podcast, registered nurse, and creator of Nice Veins Bro. Today we have Jay in the house. Everybody, welcome Jay in the house.
How's it going? Let's go.
So glad that you are here, and I'm excited to talk to you because I can absolutely see myself or my creative side in you. I feel like there's so many people in healthcare that have this creative side. And that's what I kind of want to talk about with you because you started a YouTube channel. And it's not just entertainment. There's a very positive message behind it. And in your YouTube channel, the description, you have memento vivere. What does that mean?
Yeah, I guess I always wanted to be a creative in my life, and I didn't want to be the same as everybody else. And I think nurses are creative at heart. And I heard this phrase, memento vivere. I think it was like daily stoic or something. It's a stoic phrase. It's a Latin phrase, and it means remember to live. And this just really resonated with me because I think a lot of people are just living their everyday life, just going through the motions and not truly living. I think it's a Benjamin Franklin phrase where he says a lot of people die at 25 and they're not buried until they're 75. And I think what he's alluding to, yeah, I think what
that
he's
is
alluding
so
to,
good.
yeah, he's alluding that they're basically modern day like NPCs. Like they're just going through the motions. They have no passion, no creativity. They're not using their skills. And so I think that's something that I really focus on is I don't want to be that person who's just going through the motions. I want to be creative and learning and doing my best every single day.
Absolutely. You said you feel like nurses are some of the most creative people. What got you into nursing? Was it like that whole, where people say, oh, you're not going to make any money doing this creative stuff. Go do something medical.
I always had a passion for health and science and physiology and just coaching
Same.
and teaching and learning. And I think,
Yeah.
I fell right into nursing. But I've always been a creative person. I used to love art as a little kid, and then that kind of went into YouTube. And I've been a big consumer of YouTube throughout my life. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, why do I not produce this? I love being
Yeah.
creative. I love teaching. Why am I not using, my skills to put it out there to the world? So that's sort of how I fell into YouTube as well. Yeah,
There's a lot of broken people in healthcare.
totally.
And I always like to say, just because healthcare is broken doesn't mean you have to be, you
Mm,
know?
that's great.
So why do you think people in healthcare oftentimes forget to have that memento vivere?
It's hard to narrow that down to three reasons in particular, but there's tons of reasons, right? I think
Mm-hmm,
first
mm-hmm.
off, many healthcare workers have undiagnosed ADHD, like because we're always
Mm,
thinking. We have a lot of things going on in our heads, and we're big future thinkers, I believe. So it's hard to live in the moment when you're always thinking about the future. What's next? You're thinking about that to-do list, and I'm super guilty of this. So that's one of the first things. Is it's just hard to live in the moment when we always have to have that time management piece. We're just
mm-hmm.
time management people. Um, and on top of that, I think a lot of us are just burnt out from work. We give all our empathy to these patients, and we're always stressed at work, and we get poor sleep, and we forget to care about ourselves when we're always caring about other people. And so I think at the end of the day, sometimes we're just burnt out, and we just have to sit in the couch and watch Netflix and kind of waste away because it is a
Right.
career that is very demanding
Yes.
emotionally, physically, probably one of the most physically and emotionally demanding careers I can think of. So
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say to someone who feels like they are limited to the bedside, like hospital nursing?
I would say definitely get away. I didn't, I did not enjoy bedside nursing. I was stressed to the max. Yeah, I was just really demanding on my health, and I had a big deterioration in health. And also, like, for me, I have so much distaste from bedside nursing because I am very much into lifestyle medicine and preventative
Mm,
medicine. So I saw so many like moral problems with how they were doing things. Like some of these patients don't
mercy.
see, yeah, some of these patients
Bro,
don't
yeah.
see the sunshine for months. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's patients who are there for a couple months and never even get outside, and their food is horrible. So I personally easily escaped bedside medicine. Now I work in urgent care, which is, not exactly amazing preventative medicine either, but it's a lot less stressful and I see a lot healthier and happier people. But I encourage a lot of people to escape bedside and try other things because nursing is a huge, vast career with tons of options. You do not have to stay in bedside, especially if you hate it. Please try something else. There's so many other roles you can take. And I really encourage people to try to, use the flexibility of the career to their advantage.
Yeah, and that they didn't teach us that in nursing school. I feel like they didn't teach us to sort of like leverage the skills that we have. I just feel like they teach you to work at a hospital setting, and then they also don't necessarily teach you the preventative lifestyle medicine stuff. Like you just talked about like sunlight and like exercise and I just did a podcast, an episode with my wife where we talked about New Start, and I don't know if you've heard of New Start, but it's basically it's the fundamentals of like lifestyle, nutrition, rest, temperance, right? Sunlight, like you said, water, and if we just were more proactive about like teaching these things and like educating patients and stuff, I feel like we would see a lot of less admissions and readmissions and all that stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I think a lot of people, like the nurses, the doctors, they're inherently aware of that issue of it being very like just fixing the illness, not preventing it. Um, so it's kind of hard because these big hospitals, how do we make this huge change? And I think that's part of the reason for me wanting to create YouTube channel as well is just to try to continue that message because I know there's a lot of nurses who resonate with me. I think deep down, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of nurses really care about people and really want to help their health, but we see how we're not doing that in the hospital setting. Um, so I think it's just spreading the message. A lot of people are on board with that. So if you use your voice, I use my voice, and we come together and keep talking about this, maybe change will come because a lot of people are aware of it. It's just how do we make that change? It's a big question.
Yeah, it definitely has to be a grassroots thing, which is the reason why I think it's important for people who are creative to use different avenues to talk about the things that we don't get to talk about in the hospital, right? We don't necessarily have the time. You remember working at the bedside, it was just like you had to chart, you had to get things done, and if you didn't get it done, you would get dinged. And a lot of
Hmm.
times that dampens the creativity of the nurse, to start a business or to start a creative channel like what you did. I know that a lot of times I've seen one of the things that opened my eyes was the amount of creators on spaces like Instagram and stuff, like nurses
Yeah.
who are doing a lot of stuff that is humor, right? There's a bunch of humor that we do, but at the same time, we don't actually like use all that energy. We create. I always kind of like said it. We make a whole bunch of memes, and we talk about the terrible life that we have at the hospital. But like we don't use those energies that we have to like create something with lasting change. And
Hmm.
that's why I freaking love what you do, because I don't think that there's a lot of people who say, instead of starting a nursing meme page, I'm gonna I'm gonna actually create content that is inspiring people to live a better life and have better nutrition and exercise and go out and see things in the world, because that's really what nursing is all about at the end of the day. We approach patients in their entirety, right? Whole person health, holistic health.
I appreciate what you said about my channel, and I'm glad you're getting that message from my channel because that's really what I'm about. I'm just trying to empower people to be healthier. So it actually means so much to me that you're picking that up through my content. But you're totally right. I love those meme pages and like all those funny nurse TikToks and stuff. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but you're totally right. These people are so creative, they could use that to leverage their knowledge as a nurse too. So that's a very
Right.
good point you made there.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Hmm.
remember, so you heard of seek discomfort, right? Seek discomfort.
Yes theory, yes. Seek
Yes
discomfort. It's one of
theory,
my
like
favorite. Yes.
freaking amazing. Like if we were, just taking risks and risks,
Yeah.
and what would happen if we said yes to the things that we say no to, right? Because we're afraid. There's like the fundamentals of health, right? To get person physically well, but you're going a step further and you're saying, like what is it to live that next level life, right? To live fulfilled, right? Okay, you got food, shelter, water, whatever, you got good health, you have absence of disease, but then there's an extra piece, that I see kind of in nuances with what you're creating, where it's like, I'm actually gonna challenge myself. A challenges is another thing that you're wanting to do with your channel too, right?
Yeah, that's one thing, especially in the future. I'm trying to think about how I can keep it nursing and health related and get that into more challenges and stuff because I love challenging myself in general. I always have, from a kid,
Mm-hmm.
I've been in sports my whole life and, I did a marathon. I just love challenges inherently. So I'm like, why don't I take this to my YouTube channel? So in the future, that will be a bigger part of my channel, I believe. I'm just trying to weave that in and try to make that fit into my current niche and stuff. So yeah, but you're totally right. I think a lot of us are undervaluing ourselves and not challenging ourselves enough and just kind of becoming couch potatoes. And I don't
Yeah.
mean that mean. I think it's just hard as healthcare workers to find that energy to challenge yourself. It's just a tiring career, but that's what I'm trying to do is inspire people to use their knowledge and their skills and to challenge themselves to provide for the world, right? So,
Let's say there's somebody who just graduated from nursing school, okay,
mhm.
and they have skills that they want to develop in the creative space. They want to start a YouTube channel, but they feel so drained by the work that they do in the hospital. What would you tell them in terms of advice, or maybe your younger self, either encouragement or like the next practical steps that they could take to start tapping into those things with a positive message?
Sure. I like how you said to my previous self. I'm going to start with that. I would tell myself to start YouTube earlier because I thought about it in nursing school. And then I didn't start till I graduated and was already a nurse. But I thought about doing it then, and I just wish I would have. It's a big time commitment, and people don't even know how much time YouTube takes, like to edit and stuff. But I still wish I would have taken that time to be creative then and start my message earlier because who knows where I'd be now, right? Um, and as far as like being burnt out from a new job, as a new grad nurse, you're going to be burnt out and you're going to be anxious and stressed and not have a lot of time because it just takes a lot of time. But I'd say to dial it back. Like, don't put so much importance on your job and understand that you'll get it after some time. They say that first year, I think it's until 3 years, you won't be comfortable as a nurse. And then up to 5 years, you'll be an expert nurse. So just understand your first couple years is going to be, you're just going to be trying to stay above water. You're just going to not drown. Like you're not going to get it right away. And once you understand that and dial it back and not be so anxious about it, it'll just make it so much better. I wish I would have told myself that too because
Mm.
I hated nursing right away because I like to know what I'm doing. I want to be the best at it. And I wish I would have dialed it back and been less anxious and stressed because it comes with time. We got to be patient.
Yes, dude. I feel like I'm talking to myself. Oh my gosh. When I started nursing, I felt the exact same thing. Like
Mhm.
I like to walk into a room and be able to help, right?
Right.
I feel like you're the same way.
Exactly.
How can you help when you are the newbie who doesn't know crap? Like you don't know anything. All you know is textbook nursing. It's hard to offer help when there's you have your first code and you're just kind of like standing in the corner, just kind of tossing flushes. Like, here,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You feel useless and you're not the expert in the room. And that always gave me anxiety, it always gave me anxiety. And so, yeah, no, I love what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm such a person where I just need to be good at something. Like it's an ego, selfish thing for me. And when I was starting nursing, I came out of nursing school and then I started being a nurse. I'm like, this is not the same. This is totally different. Like I
Yeah.
know nothing. I feel dumb and I hate that.
Were you a good academic? Like because I was good academically and I was involved in like the Student Nurse Association. I was like super visible. I was tutoring as well. And then when I went into ICU straight up after nursing school, man, I felt exactly what you're describing.
Yeah, I was all my life I've never really had to study or anything. Like I just hear something and I just retain it really well.
Hmm.
So I'm definitely happy that I have that gift.
Everybody is watching and going, "Oh my gosh, I hate
Yeah.
this guy."
Yeah, so people always ask me like how to study or like give me tips for nursing. I was like, you know what? I'm not a good person to ask because I know I'm not that's not normal, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
really have to study and I still got really good grades and stuff. So yeah, that's another thing where I was like, why am I not doing better? Why am I not an expert in this right away? And I also was a nursing TA as well, and so
Hmm.
like I love to teach and learn, but sometimes I got to remember that like I just learn a little different than some people.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I got to remember. But I totally get what you're saying there. Yeah.
What's next for you? What do you see yourself in, in the future? Are you wanting to go back to school? What's the dream for the channel? Are you wanting to make that the full income? What's Jay Frederick's future?
So I've thought about that my whole life. Like I said, I've always been a future thinker, and everything I've thought was wrong. So I try not to, really put too much weight on where I'm going to be because I don't know. Originally leaving nursing school, I wanted to be a functional medicine nurse practitioner and focus on that preventative side of things. But
Hmm.
just speaking to nurse practitioners, a lot of them were pretty dissatisfied with their decision. It's hard to get on the ground with functional medicine and stuff. So career wise, I'm just trying to focus on learning outside of my job, like learning about the human body, learning about how to just be a better person. Um, and I don't know where that's going to bring me, but I hope to someday have like a business that will really impact people and create change. So that is
Hmm.
my idea to kind of not exit nursing because nursing will always be a part of me. But I
Yes, sir.
think like eventually have a business that can really impact the world, right? I just want to make change in the world and good change and make people healthy. As far as the channel goes, I love being creative and I love watching YouTube, and I definitely think it'll be a part of my life for a long time. So I'd love to see more growth. It seems sometimes it's like I'm hitting a rock against the wall. So I don't know. It just is hard to break through sometimes with YouTube. It's hard to understand. It really is a game, but I do want to grow more and get better at it, and so that I can influence more people as well. Just make change, and it's hard because I don't know a ton of people kind of in the direction I want to go because I want to do challenges and stuff, but I also want it to be like educational, and it's kind of a hard. I'm trying to figure it. I'm in the learning phase. Let's keep it that way. I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
learning and growing, and there's tons of videos that just don't perform well, and
Mm.
it's frustrating. But I just am understanding that this is just learning and growing right now. Eventually, I'll figure it more out. Maybe I'll be the Mr. Beast of the health world. But for
Hey,
now,
that's friggin' that's so great, dude. You know what I love about it is that you are so honest about it and so open about it. And you say, you know what, I'm learning. I don't have it together. It's so often, how many times do we see people out here, who are the gurus of everything? How do you make, this amount? Just take my course, blah, blah, blah. And it seems like everybody has all the answers.
Mhm.
And so it is a refreshing thing, bro, to see you going, bro, I'm just out here like I'm learning, I'm doing the best that I can, and I just want to help people. And I just keep that energy. Where can people find your stuff to help you fulfill that, and so that you can also offer a lot of help to them.
Yeah, if you want to learn and grow with me, like I said, I'm still learning and growing. So that's what you're going to see over the next time until I do figure it out. But you can find me at J Fredericks, just my name. And I think it's also J Fredericks on Instagram. So pretty easy to find.
All right. Well, you guys heard it from the man. He's going to do great things. I know. Jay Fredericks, everybody. Thank you
Thank you.
so much for being on the podcast, and everybody go follow him. Go follow him. Go follow him. Go follow him. He has, I think you have, how many subscribers do you have right now?
9,000 and some change. We got to get to 10 soon. So let's
Hey,
go
let's
subscribe.
go. That's freaking
Yeah.
awesome. Y'all go support him. He's a good guy and doing a lot of good stuff for people, creating great content and also inspiring nurses to tap into a life even larger than nursing. But I love that he has this attitude of helping people. It's like a nurse's perspective on the rest of the world. I freaking love that. I see a lot of good things coming your way. Big fan of it, and I'll keep following you too to see what God brings your way. So that's awesome. Everybody, remember to follow Jay's example
Thank you so
to
much.
live that next level life and to take everything with an attitude of learning. Don't feel the stress that you have to be the expert in the room every time you walk in. That's something that we talked about, and it just creates more anxiety. Instead, look at wins and look at learning opportunities rather than wins and losses. Those losses are learning opportunities, and you obviously see that in healthcare a lot. And so, if you're going through that hard time where you feel like you don't know anything, you just graduated, you don't know what the next thing is for you, you possibly hate nursing right now. But just know that if you continue working hard and find avenues of opportunity for you to dabble in and see if this works for you, there's a bunch of other people who have gone through before you. Jay's one of them. I'm one of them, and we're continuing to grow. It's not like we have all the answers, but I know that that Jay can help in that. So if you have any questions for Jay, you can either comment down below on this video. Jay, if you'll just keep an eye out on that and,
Sure.
and
Yep.
help answer those questions, or just go directly to his channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, comment below, like and subscribe. Of course, you've got to hit that like button, right, Jay?
Like and
You have
subscribe
to.
right now. Right now.
That's right. And also follow us on Instagram at NiceVeinsBro. If you're interested in my personal stuff, it's at NENEPABLO, NENEPABLO. If you're listening on a podcast platform, drop a 5-star review because it helps kick it out to the algorithm so other people can find this awesome, positive content. Remember to be a positive force and influence within healthcare and society. Que Dios me lo bendiga. When I would listen to podcasts before I became a podcaster myself, I didn't realize how much leaving a 5-star review helped. And so now on this side, I just want you to know that it really does mean a whole lot when people review and share the content. So if you enjoyed it, please share it with somebody and leave a 5-star review on whichever platform you use, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And if you're interested, you can also find us on social media at NiceVeinsBro, or shop online at niceveinsbro.com. My personal stuff you can find under NENEPABLO, which is spelled NENEPABLO. I spend most of my time on YouTube making vlogs and videos and on Instagram. So I would love to connect with you. And remember, be a positive force and influence within healthcare and society. It's all about God, wellness, and purpose here. Thank you for listening.